The strict pull-up is one of the most important exercises in all of fitness, and just like with other exercises, there are some nuances inside of it that oftentimes get overlooked. So my goal with this video is to dive into some of those nuances so that anyone who sees this can optimize their pull-up. Whether you're just starting out and you just got your first rep, or you're more experienced, you can string some reps together, but you're looking to continue to increase your capacity. So the first thing to note is that I'm using a hangboard. This is my apartment. The video is vertical because there's a lot of other stuff that could be distracting on the side, so that's the reason for the vertical video. But I have a hangboard in my apartment, but the principles remain the same if you're using rings or you're using a traditional pull-up bar. The second thing to note is while the pull-up is a vertical pull, it's not actually a straight line, right? Because the bar or the hangboard would get in the way of our head. So it's not exactly a straight line while it is a vertical pull. The first thing we want to think about inside of our pull is just the hanging position, right? To get the most tension, you want to feel that stretched out position. I'll link a video to the passive hang, but I find that to be the best position to start from. Fully stretched through my lats, feeling my hips sink down, feeling a stretch through my obliques and my hip flexors, because ultimately you want to accumulate all of that tension and have that tension inside of every rep. That's how it's going to help lead to the best lean muscle, the most balanced aesthetic, right? If we can accumulate all of the muscle that is at our disposal inside of this movement, the more, the better. So I'm thinking about this big stretched position, and from there the first thing to do is retract my scaps. Think about a scap pull-up. That's the first thing to think about, is retracting through the scaps. But notice I'm super stretched here, and then that scap pull-up leads to the elbow flexion or the engagement of the biceps, right? So I'm super stretched, and then I'm becoming more compressed as I pull. Although it looks like I'm still dangling in the same way, it's very, very nuanced. You might not be able to see it, but that's why you want to feel it out and experience it. Again, I'm stretched as much as I can be. Scap retraction leads into elbow flexion, and then I come down. Now, this is where people can go awry when they're stringing reps together, right? Is they come right down and they're trying to bounce right back up, because it feels like, why would I want to waste time? I'm messing with my grip strength. The whole point is that you want to have as much tension as possible. So don't think about, I need to get a gazillion reps. How much tension can I get so that I don't need a gazillion reps? How can I make 3 or 4 reps even more potent? And then ultimately from there, you'll recognize that the better you get at creating tension on your own, the better you'll get at stringing them together, the better you'll get at creating more and more volume so that you won't hit that wall, you won't hit that classic plateau. All right, so just a few more things to go over. You're stretched, super, super stretched. You might even think about how the hips move as you retract through your scaps, right? Really stretch through the hips. I don't know if you saw that subtle movement, right? Retraction, I come down. Hips also extend, right? So retraction, I'm up. When I come down, right, I'm kind of leaning away slightly, and then as I make full extension, there's this little bit of a swing that's taking place. It's not cheating to allow yourself to slightly, swing forward. Again, it's this tiny little swing, so it's still a strict pull-up. As you swing forward, right before you start coming back, you want to start pulling. You want to use, again, that most stretched position to get yourself into that second rep so it looks really rhythmic, right? As I said earlier, a lot of people will drop and try to get right back up, and then it's this really chaotic looking string of reps, all right? So I'll just show you a few where I string them together. Fully stretched, retraction, I'm up, right? I'm not coming down exactly vertical. Once I get to this extended part, there's this tiny little swing taking place, and then I can come back up, right? So notice I'm extending through my T-spine when I pull, and as I come down, right? So even though there might be a slight swing, it still falls, in my mind, under the umbrella of strict. But you're using this natural momentum created by the fact that you have to get your chin out of the way of the bar, right? And this still works with rings. Obviously, when you have rings, there's a space for your head to go. But you'll notice that leaning back slightly allows you to get this great scap retraction. So think about that stretched position. Don't rush the eccentric. People get really chaotic when they start trying to bang, reps together because they're not controlling that eccentric and leading themselves into that nice second, third rep. And it might take some time to adjust your approach, and this might actually be more difficult. And as a result, maybe your 6 chaotic reps only translate to 3 or 4 here, but this will ultimately allow you to go up and up and up and up instead of hitting that plateau. So one last time, stretch right through the lats, leading into the obliques, leading into the hips, retracting my scaps, which, pulls my head back a little bit. That allows me to get up. I'm controlling. As I bring my head back to this position, there's this very slight swing. When my body gets slightly in front of the bar, that's where I pull into my second rep, and I'm able to get all of this awesome tension. So I'll leave it there and stop hammering the principles, but look to think deeply inside of your pull-up, enjoy these new concepts, and enjoy implementing them in your fitness practice.